Right. The first Rebbe of Chabad, his name was Rabbi Shneur Zalman. When he was very young, he was like 20. I'm sorry, I forget what date it was, but anyway, he was very young. He was in his 20s or before his 20s. So he was a genius, and he was recognized that he knew all of the Talmud with all the commentaries. So he said he knew all the Talmud, all the commentaries, and in those days there was the Gaon of Vilna, Rebbe Elijah of Vilna, and who was an amazing genius, holy person in Talmud. And so the Rebbe said, well, maybe I should go to him and learn how to learn Talmud. He said, but he heard that by the Maggid of Mezrich, the pupil of the Baal Shem Tov, that there they learned how to pray. And the Rebbe said, listen, to learn Torah, I know how to learn Torah. Not like the Gaon of Vilna, but I know how to learn the Torah. But prayer, I don't know at all. I don't know how to pray. So he went to the Maggid of Mezrich. So he set for himself that he wanted to see if, first of all, they learned Torah, if they were really Torah scholars, and if there was, if they respected the rabbi, and if there was brotherhood between the Chassidim. So he went and he saw that all the three things were true. All the three things were that they were big Talmudic scholars, all of them. He went and he asked them questions, and he saw that they all had tremendous awe for their teacher, for the Maggid of Mezrich, and he saw that there was even greater than all of it was the respect and love that was between them, one the other, how they treated each other, and in general how they treated Jews outside. So he stayed there. That he saw immediately, but then he decided it wasn't for him. He decided it wasn't for him. So there's two stories that I heard, and I don't know exactly when they occurred. When they occurred. So one of the stories was is that he had already decided that he was going to leave. It was very nice, very good, but he decided he was going to go to the Gaon of Vilna, and there they were really, concentrated all the time just learning Torah, and that the Maggid of Mezrich called him to his room. And so he went to the Maggid of Mezrich's room, and he said, I would like to know the explanation of this sentence in the Zohar, how you explain it. So it was talking about angels. It was talking about angels. So the Rebbe looked at it, and he explained it according to how he understood. Now he knew that the Maggid of Mezrich, understood these things better than he did, because they learned a lot of Kabbalah and secret things. But I mean, but the first Rebbe of Chabad, he was very, very young. But nevertheless, he had been over this. He had a good, tremendous mind. So he explained it. And so he said, I don't think that's the right explanation. Think deeply. So he started thinking, reading it. He read it again. Oh, his mind opened up, and he's got a much deeper idea. He said, oh, you're right. I think it means like this. And the Maggid says, I think you can do better than that. And he started reading it. All of a sudden, he got a tremendously new insight into this. And he said, well, this is really amazing. And the Maggid said, it's very good, much better than the first time, but that's not the explanation. Let me explain. So he said, as soon as he started to explain, suddenly the room like darkened, and it became like flames of fire were all over. And every word that the Maggid of Mezrich said is that all of a sudden he saw from the flames angels, and exactly what he was talking about, the Alter Rebbe saw. And it was tremendous awe and fear fell over him. He explained only for a few seconds. And the Rebbe said, the Maggid Mezrich said, that's the explanation of what it was. So suddenly he realized that the Maggid had the ability to make the upper worlds revealed here in this world. So he decided to stay. Okay, a second story is that he, I mean, it could be both stories are true, but then it's a question which one happened first. That he got on the carriage to leave, and either the Maggid or one of the Maggid's pupils was with him. And he yelled out at the driver. The driver was going slowly. He got in the carriage to leave. The Alter Rebbe. He got in the carriage, he was going to leave. And the driver was driving, and he was with someone else. He was with someone else. And the driver was driving slowly. So the one who was with said to the driver, "Can you drive fast?" He said, "You have to hit the horses so they know who the boss is." And it didn't help. And then he leaned out again. He said, "You have to hit the horses with your whip until they stop being horses. The oisfert, until they're not horses anymore. In other words, that they do what you want them to do, that they listen to you, that they're not horses anymore." The Rebbe heard this, and he said, "You have to hit the horses until they're not horses anymore." In other words, you have to change the nature of the horse. Every Jew has a little horse inside of him, maybe a big horse. And the Rebbe realized that this was a message to him, that he had to change himself totally until he wasn't the horse anymore, until he wasn't. Whichever of these two stories are true, or perhaps both of the stories are true, the Alter Rebbe changed his mind. And he decided that he was going to stay by the Maggid of Mezrich, and that there he could learn how to pray. And of course, what prayer means, it doesn't mean that you understand the meaning of the words or the Kabbalistic meaning of the words. It means that you appreciate God in everything. And everything you do, everything you see. And that's the whole purpose of what Chabad is. And then there's a third story, which when the Alter Rebbe came back home, his wife came from a family that were not Hasidim. Everybody was not Hasidim in those days. And her father was very opposed to the Alter Rebbe. Eventually, he became in favor. And so he was very opposed. So he came back home, and his father-in-law said, "I heard that you went to the Hasidim." He said, "Yes." He said, "What did you learn? You were there for a year. What did you learn?" He said, "I learned that God creates the world." He said, "That's what you learned?" He called the maidservant, and the Jewish maidservant, a simple lady. He said, "Who creates the world?" She said, "God creates the world." And he said, "See, you could have stayed here and washed floors and learned that God creates the world. You didn't have to go and waste your time over there for a full year." And he said, no. The Alter Rebbe said, "No." He said, "She says it, but I know it. She says that God creates the world, but I know that God creates the world." That's what I got by the Maggid of Mezrich. A connection. And really all three stories are the same story. In other words, to feel the spiritual worlds in this physical world means feeling. To make the horse not to be a horse means that you feel godliness. A horse can't feel godliness. And this third story also, that she says that God creates the world, but I feel it, I know it. And that's the purpose of Chassidut. Have a good day. With Mashiach now. You know what? One second, I forgot to give charity. Every day I say I'm going to give charity, and I should give charity. So instead of giving charity in the beginning, it's never too late. Another Chassidic principle. Nish kein verfallen. It's never too late. We can give charity now. Hashem should return all of the prisoners, captives, should free all the Jewish people in the world from the prison of their minds and from their lack of identity. And Hashem should free up the whole entire world from evil and from selfishness and from aggression and from depression and from addictions. Hashem, you can do it. Please do it as soon as possible. Charity saves the world. Have a good day with Mashiach now, and we'll see each other tomorrow, 8:15, and we'll finish the Davar Malchut. Thank you for coming.